What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, episode number 122 in the Gamer Noob. I found it. It's that old doorway that I was wondering what it was ever going to be used for, because it seemed really out of the place. Should have saved before I walked in, huh? Rip. Oh, hello there, everybody. Yas. The demon standing before you clearly has a penchant for jewelry. His fingers are covered in rings, 3 gold chains encircle his neck, and 4 bejeweled earrings sparkle in each of his ears. However, such exquisite adornments are not enough to hide the fact that he is a hardened warrior and a ruthless killer. His face and hands are covered in long, badly healed scars, and he moves as gracefully as the most skilled swordsman. Look who's here! It's the arrogant Galarian who disposed of our poor Willidus. He catches your eye and frowns slightly, giving an pointed glance towards his bodyguards. You aren't about to do something really stupid and start a massacre here, right? Can we just talk? Who are you, the leader of this gang of assassins? Yes, and I'm proud of it. The Abyss is full of butchers and monsters, so anyone who chooses to be an assassin among monsters and butchers comrades at a high level of respect. If they live long enough to make a name for themselves, of course, my guild attracts assassins from many planes. No one hires us for simple things like murdering noisy neighbors or cutting the throat of a cheating merchant. As I'm sure you know, it's easier and cheaper to do that yourself, and there's no need to get assassins involved. Now, if someone turns to an assassin, it means that the victim is a dangerous, cunning, and well-protected target. A lot of things about you, Yaz. You're the head of a highly reputable guild that operates on many planes besides the Abyss. Many of my colleagues have considered it an honor to work alongside you, unlike myself. This horn thing one of yours, isn't it? What was the law? Yes, this little demoness is one of my most useful servants. Besides, it's very prestigious to have a daughter of Baphomet working under you. Yes, master, I am your servant. For a fleeting moment, you notice a shadow of angry displeasure across her face. A spark of fear flashes in Yaz's eyes, like a boy who realizes he's gone too far when testing the patience of his parents. Tell me the truth right now. Fine, fine. I was the one who actually gave Graver assignments. I needed to light a little fire underneath this cauldron where so many minions of demon lords are being mixed together. I ordered him to murder those demons in Canabras, and I put a hit out on Darazend, although that ugly idiot didn't bother me at all. But he was an ugly idiot indeed, and a vengeful one to boot. That's why I gave Greybor a dagger that was only supposed to wound the Baylor, and that is why using Willidus' name was important. It's the perfect hand of cards. Darazend survived after suffering a painful, humiliating wound by a mortal's hand. No offense, of course. The Baylor couldn't simply let the go, and so he started a vendetta against Willidus, dragging over other Deskerites into it, and that was my goal all along, because Willidus was my real target, a target that was very difficult to reach. People like you are why us assassins have such a lousy reputation. No respect for agreements. You accuse me to commit a contract killing. It's disgusting. How delightfully scrupulous of you. Are you suddenly disgusted by all the blood on your hands because you killed Willidus for me and not for yourself? What concerns me is not the contract killing itself, but the fact that I've yet to been paid a single coin. Looks like Graybor and I reached Willidus for your killers. Oh please, I had no intention of sending anyone after him, but my assistants made sure that every larva in the city knew about the bounty on Willidus' head. I knew that Graybor returned to Lucianir and decided to use him once more, just like poor Darazend. He had no idea he was merely a pawn of mine, just as I envisioned. You didn't linger and paid him a visit before anyone else could. I had no doubt that paranoid Willidus would try to kill you when he crossed his doorstep, but I expected you to overcome him, and I was right. You're the Assassin's Guild. Why didn't you send your underlings after Willidus? Who says I didn't? You just did, actually. I lost a number of capable killers. And yet, as you can see, I found a more elegant and economical way to execute this plan. I won't lie to you, this kind of plotting makes me very proud of my own guile. So these are your guild's finest. They hardly seem professional. Why did you do all of this? For money and power, of course. This has been my primary motivation for years now. Somebody wanted the old Woodlouse dead, and clever Yaz has filled their wish, with the expectation of being showered in privileges and treasures. You're getting a share of those privileges and treasures, by the way. I trust you're not going to refuse your reward, provided you're freelance operatives. Trust me, the sum is considerable. I haven't forgotten about you either. You'll be rewarded in proportion to your truly astonishing lethality. I'll take the gold, don't worry. No doubt we'd come to an understanding. After all, we share a common language, the language of gold. Since it's a matter of my reputation as a result of this plot, I consider it fair to lay claim to 20% of the total fee. Yeah, it's only fair. I appreciate your integrity when it comes to business. As for you, Graybor, you've proven your competence. As a token of apology, allow me to offer you a membership of my Assassin's Guild. Consider it a recognition of your talents that you have long desired. I promise you prestige, respect, and truly staggering fees. Of course, I won't demand that you serve your current contract. You may claim your well-deserved place in our guild when it expires. So then, what do you say? Will I be welcoming you to the big leagues? Gregor, we are bound by an active agreement, therefore I must consult your opinion on this invitation. Are you truly prepared to throw your lot in with demons? Is it really much of a difference between me and them? They are the product of the worst parts of the mortal soul. They are sin incarnate. Many say the same thing about me. I was never a coward, so I'm able to admit that my soul is black and evil. I murder others for money, and I shall never become a respectable member of society, a friend or a father. But I'm tired of asking forgiveness for what I am. Here, I will not be judged for my profession. I am not the freak or monster they think me back on Galarian. How dare they hire me for murder of their enemies and then despise me for my profession. They'll treat me differently in the abyss. The demons respect my skills. They'll treat me as a professional, not as a criminal or a blackguard. It's strange to say this, but I don't feel out of place here. I thought about quitting the business. And become, what, a farmer, a butler, or maybe an innkeeper? One of those who tells tales about their adventurous youth, the drunk patrons? My soul is the wonder of a wanderer and a killer. My art is the only source of my pride, and abandoning it will make me useless in my own eyes. Believe me, I already tried to settle down with them to find an honest job, and nothing good came of it. I shall quit my profession only when I'm judged by Phrasm herself. Go for it then, bud. We have an active contract. You could have denied me this, but I appreciate that you're discerning enough to respect my skills. Where do I sign? What are you talking about? We're not devils after all. Splendid. You've got the bright future here, my diminutive deadly friend. Well, this was a very enlightening conversation, but I see no need why we should continue. Yet you've received your answers and should probably be on your way. Meanwhile, I should get back to plotting another bloody and violent murder. Have a good day. Indeed, this was an unexpected meeting. If you want to discuss what happened privately, Commander, I'm at your service. Alright, well. Easy peasy. Now back to another portal, shall we? Is there a quick portal anywhere around here? There's one in the 10,000 Delights, right? Oh, I'm down here. We can just portal down to the flesh markets and be fine then. Angry citizens. And we're gonna go back to the Nexus, obviously, and talk to Greybor. Let's check our quests again, shall we? Walking Corpses, which is Nocticula. The Wicked, which is Ember meeting Nocticula. Talk to Greybor. Alright, we just gotta go talk to Greybor, let Ember meet Nocticula. And we're good to go. I guess. I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen after we start talking to Nocticula, but that'll be fun. We're talking about my army. I don't even have access to it right now. I miss it. I miss commanding my army to go crush puny little things. I kind of like that aspect of the game, actually. It was fun. Alright, let's go talk to Greybor. We know where he's at. To the caves. Greybor, buddy. Hello. Perhaps I should thank you for your help. You assisted me in dealing with all of y'all's schemes even though you didn't need to. So I'm grateful for that. Can you explain to me what kind of mess we've involved ourselves in? An anonymous client ordered Yaz, the head of the Assassin's Guild of Lucineer, to kill Willidus. He tried to take the target down several times, but Willidus turned out to be quite a tough nut to crack. Then Yaz gave a new anonymous assignment, kill Darazan, and tell him that Willidus sent his best regards. However, Yaz gave me a weapon that could only wound Darazan, not kill him. He hoped it would provoke Darazan and make him angry enough to go kill Willidus himself. Of course, you killed Darazan before I got a chance to do anything else. When Yaz found out that we were both in the Abyss, then that I'd be eager to talk to Willidus, he started giving me hints as to where to find this fella. We lived up to his expectations, Willidus died, and I'm sure you remember what happened next as well as I do. So we killed Willidus for no reason. Well, it depends on how you look at it. Was he to blame for the damage to my reputation? No. Was he an utterly disgusting creature whose face practically begged me to sink an axe into it? Did he try to kill us in his own manner? Were the creatures we encounter in a said manner the most atrocious and perverted things I've ever met? The answer to all those questions is yes. I don't think anyone is going to cry themselves to sleep over his death, and neither should we. Your reputation has been restored. How do you feel? Don't panic. This will make people think twice before attempting to ruin my good name. But I'm grateful my companions didn't leave me to deal with this by myself, even though I had every right to do so. So while I'm used to working alone, I appreciate a team I can trust. It's good to have someone who's got my back. Yeah, protecting's one honor and important. I agree. Who would we be without a reputation? A bunch of opportunistic scoundrels who be driven away by every door. A dishonorable life isn't worth a copper. What do you think of your membership of the Assassin's Guild of Lucineer? Thinks the position rightfully belongs to me. This guild is not as infamous as the Red Mantis, the legendary fanatic assassins who perceive their victims as offerings to their god Akshikek, or the silent monks of Anaphexia who guard some kind of secret knowledge and murder anyone who dares to touch it, but its name still means something to the discerning client. A Lucineer is the crossroads between several different planes, and Yaz's assassins not only work in the Abyss and on Galarian, but also in many other interesting places. The fact that I was accepted into this society is undeniable proof of my professionalism. I'm grateful that you did not insist on the exclusivity of our contract to allow me to reap the benefits of my hard work. Thanks, Clarina. You've been a good employer, Commander. I'm glad I've made this contract with you. Manage to restore your reputation and join the guild. But what about our contract? Do you want to terminate it? First, it would have been highly unprofessional to abandon you after you helped me. Second, the war is still in full swing. My departure would have been a source of gossip, which would turn into damage my reputation beyond repair. I don't want people to perceive me as a coward who fled from a good fight. Third, I've long since discovered that working for you is profitable in more ways than one. You're always trying to take down the most dangerous targets, and they make great additions to my trophy list. Alright, good talk, bud.
Let us
well. let's rest up. And then I guess...
People say that nobles always have a hidden agenda. You can never take any of them at face value.
I grew up in seclusion and never learned the art of intrigue, Greyboar. I am exactly who I appear to be, and nothing more.
That's a lie. She's an evil woman. An evil, dangerous person. Sorry, I was dying of coughing. I had to mute myself. My bad. Alright, it's time to go see a Nocticula. I've probably been saying her name wrong for like ever, but I don't care. I love it. Across the long bridge to the main area we go. Where it stops? I was gonna say nobody knows, but no, we know. It's Nocticula's palace. We know. And we're off. A long run. We look so small in this area, don't we? So tiny.
Are we ready to move out?
I tire of waiting.
There we go.
I'll make my own legend.
No, no. Alright, I'm headed in. Senior guard, I'm headed in. I want to go in. Our lady has ordered us not to bar your way. Good. I've had such a bad cough all morning, guys. I'm so sorry. It's not going away. Alright. We're in.
Let's move.
Tall shelves are stuffed with countless books and scrolls praising the Lady in Shadow's many deeds. Some tomes are old and threadbare, where others are new and in mint condition.
It went
The ink on the page is
splendidly.
still wet. The book tells of a murderous massacre committed by the Lady in Shadow among the Caluxus demons of the Midnight Isle. It seems to be happened quite recently. I want to go into the side rooms. Hello? Oh. The Lexicon the Paradox. Key to the last threshold. Many mortal researchers have ventured to turn their scientific curiosity on the phenomenon of the Worldwound, noting that it appears to have a life of its own. Strange natural phenomena, spontaneously arising ruptures, unique vegetation, and living creatures found in neither Galarian nor the Abyss. Everything is constantly in flux, appearing and disappearing at unpredictable intervals. Though this movement and alteration is not through its order, one can detect the logical functioning of the organs of a living being. The truth is that indeed the Worldwound possesses a semblance of life, and its very structure presupposes a connection to a living soul. This line of reasoning sometimes leads me to unscientific implications, namely, if the creation is in essence a reflection of the Creator, then can we say that the Worldwound is a reflection of my own soul? The Worldwound was created and then improved, and at the same time a being of duality was cobbled together from the essence of the Abyss and the essence of a mortal soul. Normally this process requires an essence taken from the creature with strength comparable to that of an imperial or abyssal lord, but there are ways to circumvent this requirement, in particular through the use of the Hindering Crystals' rare power. In this section I refer to this being as the Key, an instrument that allowed me to significantly expand or strengthen my original creation. Due to his dual nature and connection to the Worldwound, the Key was given the opportunity to obtain amazing powers. However, everything has a price. The Worldwound is linked to the Key, but the Key is also linked to the Worldwound and carries it in his soul like a deadly affliction. This affliction is indeed fatal, and the duality of the soul grants amazing powers and primes the soul's owner for transformation for the bestowing of incredible abilities, but this duality is also slowly killing the owner's soul. It's the problem I've yet to solve. The letters that are written by the hand of a Arilu Vorlesh have appeared all their life. Moments in attention they begin to disperse, changing shape and moving towards the edge of the pages, though they are planning to leap off. Focus on the text. Gregor's attention focuses on a couple of the words that seem to have only swapped places. The words freeze as though they never moved at all. But at the corner of his eye, the commander sees several rows on the other side of the page and begin a discreet game of leapfrog. Do we still have it? Take it. Books written in multiple languages and tiles that we translate are dedicated to the research of nature's souls. The black palette sketches, drawings depict fragments of various rituals that lead to the opening of it. It's another midnight bolt. As you know, my dear Dressy, given the scope of the planes, time is a relative concept and the abyss can be even more unreliable. Therefore, I do not allow myself the vain hope that my message will reach you in time.
Follow me.
Okay. Next. This is plenty of time to read it, I promise. Your final question was about the possibility to complete awakening of memories of immortal life within a soul that was already passed through Pharasma's judgment. I will send you the research on all the cases of which I am aware where such an awakening took place. Is that all? Will there be more? I don't know, because it takes forever, so who knows? You can't skip it. Can't make it go fast. Despite this fact that the list is quite extensive, my conclusion is that all such recorded cases are the rarest exceptions to the rule, in which, and with the absolute majority of souls, an occurrence such as this cannot happen. Both the wonder and the tragedy of mortality lie in the fact that there is a certain moment after which the process is final and irreversible. The essence that departs the judgment of the Lady of Graves is no longer what it was in life, and we as scientists must account for this in the system of knowledge we are constructing. Two hours later. Done? Done. Okay.
March on.
Good to know. Other side. The Leading Shadow's library is called the Vault of Graves. It contains the biography of everyone whose life Nocticula has ever taken, and her victims are innumerable. Stealing from the Lady in Shadow, don't mind me. She wants me to do this.
I sense something.
She wants me to explore her beautiful palace.
I'm glad I was useful to you.
I stand ready.
No, do not pick the lock, Gregor.
I'm all ears.
I will help where I can.
Can we select everybody, please? Thank you. My goodness. Driving me crazy.
I finished here. Is there more?
Alright, looks like we got all the loot. Don't think fighting Nocticula would be a good idea, so let's hope that doesn't have to happen. The Lady Shadow, the Queen of the Midnight Isles, Lady Nocticula, Demon Lord of Darkness and Lust. I'm headed in.
Let us be off.
Okay, just sides. Just that. There she is.
Greetings.
Oh, it's Arilu. Hi, Arilu.
Greetings, Commander.
Lady Arilu, allow me to express my deepest admiration of your work, and may I just ask...
What are you doing here, Arilu, with Suture in tow?
The Suture is my servant. I did not expect him to rush into the abyss after me, but I have allowed him to remain with me while I take care of some business. However, you asked what I am doing here. I bring answers. You have walked a long path, one where shadows constantly flicker at the edge of your vision, and questions multiply like flies above carrion. It is time for answers. At least, some of them.
Uh-oh. I was here to talk to Nocticula, though. This is, I remember this. Oh, you helped me here too? Of course you did.
Day 16, Aridus 4715. Experiment, transformation. Subject, let's skip that. Objective, to embed the essence of an Hindering Crystal in the soul of the subject. Expected result, the essence will coalesce with the subject's soul, which will ready itself for total transformation, triggering the concomitant powers. The time has come to put my plan into action.
So she put a crystal in me? Oh dear.
You are my creation. Your power was my gift. Now you know.
Let's say I believe you. Why did you need to do all this?
You are asking the right questions, but the time has not yet come.
Ah, such special memories. Remember the laboratory, do you? I told you back then. Go on, look around. See all the ones Lady Aurelia worked on. Here with us is definitely the place for you.
The unseen age does not speak, but his silence seeps with thunder in your ears.
Your power is of the same kind as that of Nulkineth, Jerrybeth, and the other demons that you have met. The power of the Hindering Crystal dissolved into the blood lies within your soul. I have already hinted at this to you once before, when I left the essence along with the Lexicon the Paradox in my old laboratory, and ordered the suture to make sure the gift found its way into your hands. But there is more. Do you remember when you were taken to Canobris with a wound that would not heal? Do you remember how Terendelev apparently healed you? That was merely an illusion. The dragon was only able to temporarily dull the pain. In fact, it was I who saved you, when I came to you in the caves and implanted a crystal within you. No, saved is not the right word. Your wound is still not healed. That is why your wound weeps blood from time to time, every drop of which burns your enemies.
As if to confirm her words, blood begins to seep from your wound in your chest. Eerie flames seem to dance within the crimson drops.
This is pure essence of Hindering Crystal. My invention is far superior to the crystals used by Xanther, which were barely refined at all. It will give you new strength and help you to overcome the wound that still slumbers within your soul. Take it. Take it, and you will see that this is the very power that has lived in you since the Battle of Canobris.
Not much of a threat. Look at me. Before you know it, I'll be a decrepit heap of flesh just like so. But I still managed to keep living somehow.
It's not going to work. You need to tell me everything first.
Very well, then. Ask your questions, and I will answer.
What is this wound in my soul? How dangerous is it?
It was my mistake. My failure. I failed to... The tale is too long to recount here. Your wound is a reflection of the Worldwound in a way. It is very dangerous, even if you do not yet realize it. It is not a disease, but rather an abscess, which will one day burst and kill you. It cannot fully be healed until the Worldwound is healed. No doubt you have felt this affliction on several occasions. It awakens when you use your power. It makes you sense more strongly what mortals call the corruption of the abyss. Until the Worldwound is healed, you will have no peace.
You followed me.
Like a witch in a fairy tale, I watched over you from birth. From before that, even. And I kept detailed notes. You were chosen and prepared for a special destiny. Aside from this, I helped you, even when you were unaware of my presence. I saved you and your unfortunate companions when you fell into the crevice in Canabris. In the Grey Garrison, it was I who distracted Minago to allow you to approach the Wardstone. And in Dresden, I appeared under the guise of Yoniel to guide you toward the Sword of Valor. And I also left you a present in my old laboratory, and told the Suture to see that you received it. I knew that sooner or later you would find your way there. That place exerts a powerful pull.
As it turns out, you helped me thwart the plans of your masters Baphomet and Dascari.
They are not my masters, they are a resource.
Why was the whole ploy with the lab necessary? You even sacrificed your servant, the Suture, for it.
You always have to sacrifice something. I wanted you to go to the laboratory to see with your own eyes what I had been doing and what I am capable of, so it would be easier for you to accept the truth. The laboratory is the place where I prepared your ascent. And the Suture was the only one who I could trust to execute my plan and explain everything. After all, he too once experienced rebirth at my hands. And that is why I was willing to risk his life.
Look at that, I actually provoked a reaction. That's the second time your expression has changed when I mentioned the Suture. Now I know the architect of the Worldwound is capable of feeling remorse. If only she sends her dretched minion on a deadly mission.
I see I am not the only one making observations and drawing conclusions. You are analyzing me. That is commendable.
Tell me about the Hindering Crystals from start to beginning.
The Hindering Crystals are formed from the solidified blood of demon lords. Their properties are not well known, even among the inhabitants of the Abyss. And there are reasons for this. Acquiring the blood of a dead demon lord is very difficult. After a demon lord dies, their body is instantly absorbed into the Rift of Repose. Only the Lady in Shadow knows how to kill them in a way that allows her to preserve the bodies of her fellow lords and transform them into a solid state. That means that Nehindrian crystals cannot be obtained anywhere other than the Midnight Isles. Or rather, it was impossible until recently, when I managed to experimentally obtain a crystal from the blood of a still living lord. You saw the result. A dagger made from Dascari's freshly shed blood, which I left for you in Canabris. As regards the use of the crystals, that is a discussion that would take time, a very long time. Someday I will finish my groundbreaking treatise on the transformation of Nehindrian crystals, although it is unlikely I will ever publish it.
So you figured out how to use the crystals to imbue living creatures with power.
Not just any creatures. Demons and half-demons. The soul must have a stable connection with the Abyss in order for it to receive the power of the crystal. Experiments involving tieflings and mongrels failed because the voice of the Abyss was not strong enough within them.
But I'm not a demon.
I wasn't a demon either when I started. But there are always ways to circumvent or even to override the laws of the universe. I changed myself by knitting my soul together with the essence of the Abyss. And I changed you. Do you remember the fits of rage that began shortly after Dascari's attack on Canabris? This is how the second half of your soul manifested itself. Not yet fully aware. Not yet awakened. It's a pity you did not choose to let your demonic nature take hold. The result would have been most impressive. All those arrogant crusaders, those knights with their eyes ablaze, those pious priests. They have installed at the head of their magnificent army a scion of the Abyss, the creation of the architect of the Worldwound, whom they so revile.
Strange to see you in here in Nocticula's palace. Who do you really serve? Dascari? Baphomet?
Both. And neither. I have served both Dascari and Baphomet, and not merely as the lowest in the pecking order. But I do not think you'll be surprised when I tell you that to me, both of these mighty lords are merely convenient temporary sources of power. and their time is almost at an end. But the Lady in Shadow is different. She is the preeminent ruler. Soon you will understand this for yourself.
My power is different from that of Jerebeth, Nulkaneth, and other demons.
Yes, because I taught Xanther and the other servants of Baphomet and Discari the earliest version of this transformation ritual. I spent decades perfecting it until I obtained the power that I gave to you. Power in its most purified form, cleansed of the filth and chaos inherent within the original blood of the demon lords. Your power is as pure as thrice distilled water, but it resonates with other powerful sources of supernatural power, such as the Sword of Valor. And your power can change. You must have realized this already. You have shaped my gift into a form that you yourself have chosen. You are seeking answers, trying to understand the crux of the matter. That is good.
What I want to know is this. What do you want from me?
Patience. Before we continue, I want you to receive your power.
I will not refuse this power, but I will decide how to use it. I've decided so far. I can decide when I take this one too, right? I can only imagine, yes. You touch the essence and the power so familiar and clear flows through you like a river. The power that courses through you is so immense the wound on your chest closes up as if it had never existed.
Now you know. You truly know.
Enough! Enough of this madness! I was blind. O Lady of Heaven, how blind I was. I saw holiness in the half-fiend's creation. All your valiant deeds, your resistance in the face of temptation, it was all a deception? Curse the Abyss, and curse Elushanira, where even the most faithful lose their way, and lie, and commit treason. I must save those who can be saved, and break free from the kingdom of darkness.
I want to help you close the Worldwound.
I want to close the Worldwound. Aurelia's words are cut off by a quiet laugh. Sitting on the throne that was empty just a moment ago is none other than Nocticula, ruler of Elushanira in the Midnight Isles. A powerful demon lord and the one they call Our Lady in Shadow. Her red lips curl into an ironic smile and her large eyes observe you with keen interest.
You were about to say, we are going to close the Worldwound, weren't you, Aurelu? I see no reason to continue deceiving this mortal. Now I am convinced that he is quite worthy of serving me. I will even reward him with a modicum of knowledge about the events in which he is about to take part.
Greetings to you, Our Lady in Shadow.
It's nice to see that even surrounded by mortals, you haven't forgotten who your mistress is, Arushale. You may rise.
I didn't mean to. I don't know why I did it.
I wanted to see if there was a response to Arushale, but there's not. Yeah, we'll bow. We'll be respectful. Please allow me to greet you, great ruler of the Midnight Isles.
Your manner does not lack courtesy. That is to be commended. I have had my eye on you for a very long time. You see, it was at my behest that Lady Vorlesh imbued you with such incredible powers. But I was curious to see your worth as an individual, not as Lady Vorlesh's creation. Thus, I decided to postpone our meeting and see how you'd fare in Elushanira, and whether or not you could win respect and power among those not so easily impressed by outstanding magical abilities. Well, you've passed my test adequately by proving that your character and your will are stronger than the Nehindrian powers Lady Vorlesh has vested in you.
You are wise, my lady. However, only those who have never known or forgotten what it is like to be mortal can so easily dismiss the importance of power. To be someone whose life is fragile and can be cut short at any moment, like a candle snuffed out by a gust of wind.
It is a shame your angel has left you, mortal. I would have liked to talk to him. I don't expect I will get another chance, as that celestial buffoon's days are numbered.
You were able to see the hand of the inheritor despite all of his enchantments?
The herald of that upstart goddess. Here,
Yes, although his defenses were quite intricate. A commendable precaution on his part, as word of the hand of the Inheritor descending once more into the abyss reached the Echo of Discari almost immediately. Mind you, vindictiveness and guile have always been among his best qualities.
The hand of the Inheritor told me his magic deceived the eyes of all evil spawn of the abyss, but not yours?
Perhaps you don't know everything about me yet, mortal. Perhaps you made the same mistake as many before you, and many who are more insightful and more powerful than you, by presuming to know what to expect from the Lady in Shadow.
Tell me about the Echo of Discari.
He is a strange creature, a bespoke creation, so to speak. Long before the Worldwound was opened, Discari, that little cricket, was seeking a way to have some fun on Galarian and assert his influence there. One day, he decided to gather a few strong mortal followers, fuse them together into one being, and pump that being full of his own power, in the belief that something worthwhile would come of it. That is how the Echo came to be. To the great dismay of both the Echo and the Lord of Crickets, the Echo was greeted by Eredin, protector of humankind. Eredin gave the Echo such a thorough thrashing, the whole abyss thought him dead. And yet he was not. Cricket, the younger, is alive and well, though I cannot say the same for Eredin. But the Echo remembers his humiliation still. He hates anything and everything related to Eredin, especially his inheritor, Iomedae. Her heralds, her priests, her temples. He would hate Iomedae's pet pug, if she had one.
Why does the Echo of Discari prey upon the hand of the Inheritor?
Envy, humiliation, ego. The usual playthings of little boys from all planes and realities. The Echo suffered more than one defeat, first at Eredin's hand, then under the onslaught of the forces of heaven. Those routes taught him to attack his enemies by stealth, boldly and often, killing and crippling anyone close to the light-bringing goddess. Now, it seems, he has decided the time has come. The Herald of Iomedae himself is in the abyss alone, without a retinue of lesser angels.
I see.
He's an interesting little bird, that angel. Before he became the Herald of Iomedae, he served Regathiel, the General of Vengeance. I've always found the fate of that Imperial Lord to be quite fascinating. Did you know that the father of the Upper Plains' top military leader was a devil from hell? Regathiel had to achieve many feats to redeem his unholy legacy in the eyes of the other Imperial Lords. But he did. A remarkable tale, is it not?
The conversation is interrupted by concerned-looking succubus who silently approaches Nocticula and then begins fervently whispering in her ear. Nocticula's expression turns hard and cold. As Nocticula ponders the new development, the messenger makes eyes at you playfully. You recognize those green eyes, except they were awash with pain the last time you saw them. They're already bleeding out in the caverns of the Nexus. The succubus smiles slyly and gives you away.
Another island, another loss. Enough! I warned them that I would not stand for the desolation of my realm. They have not heeded me, and they will regret it. Go to your sisters, and tell them to prepare.
The green-eyed succubus, I know her.
Yes, you've already met Laulia, my talented assistant. I've heard she was very convincing at acting out her tragic death in the mines of the Nexus. As you can see, I've been watching you since your very first moments in the Abyss, and even a little earlier. I have prepared a beautiful intrigue that will topple many of your enemies and seal the Worldwound forever, ending the threat to Galarian. And you have the chance to become part of that intrigue.
My companion Ember would like to speak with you.
Ember? So that's her then? Well, approach. I have heard you bleating your pathetic prayers at me. You have some nerve addressing me with such nonsense. Did you think I would simply repent? Renounce my status as a demon lord? Do you have any idea what I had to do to acquire it? Wait, what is this?
Tears are rolling down Ember's cheeks. She sniffles noisily. She presses her maimed hands against her heart as she stares at Nocticula. Her fragile form shudders from weeping. Why have you brought the simpleton here? This is a Lucianera, not an Erosian, and we don't give alms here.
I can't stand these noises. Do you think you're the first to try to move me with a display of tears? It only makes me angry. If you wish to speak, then wipe your nose and speak clearly.
I know what you had to do to others and to yourself. I'm so sorry. So sorry. If only I could ease your pain somehow. Calm your sorrows.
She believes that, deep down, everyone is good, even creatures that are evil by nature.
I don't know what nature is and don't care a whit about cosmic good and evil. They are but labels, thought up by philosophers. I know what power is. Pleasure. Desire. All this childish babble merely amuses me. Nothing more. So, where were we? My pain? My sorrows? What nonsense are you talking? Don't tell me you pity me.
I'm so sorry. You're the most miserable soul I've ever seen. I've seen people burned alive. People being devoured by monsters. People burying their children. They were in pain. So much pain. But I've never seen anyone in as much pain as you.
What is this saccharine drivel? What do you even know of me, Nat?
I've seen your city. You were the one who built it. It is the way you wanted it to be. It holds on with your dreams, all of your heart, and everyone in this city is suffering. Everywhere, all the time, every minute. All who live here are hurting and scared. If these are its citizens, how miserable must its ruler feel?
And this is what you brought her to me for. You think this infantile sniveling is worthy of my attention?
I've seen the truth of her wisdom more than once, perhaps to benefit you to listen to her as well.
As if I hadn't seen enough sanctimonious bores in my life. So, what do you suggest I do, preacher? Beg the good gods' forgiveness? Devote myself to serving a sword-swinging upstart, perchance? Or that old crone, the moon?
No. Gods can't help anyone. They're just like us mortals. Silly, frightened, clueless. You're almost goddess yourself. You know better than anyone that no one can save you. No one except you.
Save me? From what exactly?
From yourself. From what you've done to yourself. From the city you've imprisoned yourself in. Listen! You are a queen, but you're the queen of pain and filth. Your realm is a realm of your own suffering. You're almost goddess. You can do anything you want. So why won't you make yourself happy? You could become the Redeemer Queen.
Oh, the Redeemer Queen. That's new. Never in all my years have I heard anything like that. Well, child, enough joking. Get out of my sight, or I'm afraid I might decide to keep you here forever as my fool.
Do you think she took my words to heart?
Probably.
That would be great.
I told you to get out! I don't want to hear your squeaky voice again!
Did it really create me? She certainly had a hand in your present state of existence. Lady Rilesh designed the Worldwound, a magical phenomenon of unfathomable power. To seal it, we required a key that was just as strong and unique. Simply put, we required a champion, and we chose you. Both your powers and the wound on your chest were a result of her experiments. When she infused your soul with the essence of the Abyss, so of course you remember none of that, everything was done in secret. Even the power granted to you was purified to the extent that it was possible, so that you would not guess its source ahead of time. In trial after trial, we watched your will be tempered, and when the time came, we started filling you with the energies of the Hindering Crystals. These energies were necessary for the task at hand. Everything that's happened to you was part of my intrigue. I was going to summon you and reveal the truth when the time was right. Instead, you followed your queen's orders and arrived here early. One can only hope that you are prepared to accept the truth. Everything has its price. Your wound was, in essence, the flip side of all my experiments. There was a reason why we required a true champion, not merely a living tool whom we could fling into the flames of the Worldwound and close it like a lesser rift. I think you should know that. Don't be too hasty. We have burdened him with enough revelations for now. Give him some time to become accustomed to the truth about himself, then you can share all the details. What exactly are you offering me? I'm offering you the chance to become my weapon. Your enemies are a thorn on my side as well as yours. What's more, I've never schemed against Galarian, nor have my warriors ever taken part in the conquest of your plane, at least not at my behest. There is no cause for the enmity between us. Why would you want to close the wound? When the Worldwound opened, I was pleased. My realm was now connected to another plane. I wanted to make it a crossroads of worlds, a place where demons, devils, and even angels could meet. The wound was a convenient path along which I could advance my ideas, but the Midnight Isles were not only the realm that I had linked to the Galarian. Through the wound, Discari and Baphomet have now had a way for their realms into your plane. Their servants flooded my islands and spread out across them like a plague of locusts, killing guests who were under my protection, questioning my rule, and they were driven by their lust to conquer and enslave, whether going Galarian or in another abyssal realm. I was forced to shift my focus and express my discontent. Eventually, atop the bones of our servants, we reached an accord. I would let the armies pass, and they would comply with my wishes while on my islands. Of course, the accord is a polite fiction. Both the Discarites and the Baphometites are attempting to amass their powers and influence Lucianira to overthrow me. When they think I'm not watching, they break my taboos and revel in their own impudence. And worst of all, Lady Verlesh told them about the Hindering Crystals, and they realized what kind of power the crystals hold, and now they are determined to mine every last deposit hidden within my islands. And once an island loses its crystals, it becomes nothing but flotsam, slowly sinking into the dark waters of the Ishiar. With every lost island, my power is diminished. I could start a war and kill plunderers, but a major conflict would hinder some of my other plans, so instead I teach my neighbors a lesson by orchestrating their ignominious defeat at the hands of a mortal. We're going to be well over time with this one because there's a lot of lore going on, so I'm just letting you guys know it's going to be a long one. What do I gain by serving you? A reasonable question one must always serve one's own interest. Well, rest assured that you will be adequately rewarded, and I will give you the gifts befitting your ambitions, and my patronage, which you can certainly count on, will provide more valuable than any enchanted trinkets you could dream up. Someone's feeling generous. While we're at it, we might as well ask for immortality. I wrote in like divine powers, pockets full of sweet pies, right? I can grant you immortality as well. If you think I will only reward the commander for his service, you're mistaken. I could grant every one of you whatever you desire most. You, Underground Hunter, would you like me to rid you of the curse of your short life that haunts your tribe, so that your eyes don't grow weak in 5 years and your arms remain strong? I would love that, but I'll have to pass. I don't know what price demons demand for favors like that, but I'm not sure I've got anything to pay with. I'd rather die honestly whenever my time comes than a debt around my neck. You're so powerful, why do you need me? If I were to make a move myself, it would start a war. Now, not that I'm afraid of doing so, but it would hamper my more important plans. Baphomet and Discari would never best me, but they could sow enough chaos and spill enough blood that visitors from other planes would shudder at the mention of Lucianira. And no, I will wage war on my own terms, in the shadows, and I will remain unseen until I drive my blade into my enemy's back. And since Godfrey happened to send you into my realm, you have the honor of becoming my blade, mortal. Be glad you're wielded by my skillful hands. We should also reveal exactly how our blade will be employed. We can discuss the details later, when the moment is right. Now is not the time for idle conversation. How exactly do you plan to close the Worldwound? It's a complicated magical process. You will receive precise instructions once you've captured the Threshold Fortress on Galarian. There, at the exact spot where Lady Verlesh opened up the Worldwound, you will be able to close it. But first you'll have to crush the Guardians of the Threshold, and their forces are growing by the day. Hepzibah, Baphomet's daughter, is mining a large number of Hindering Crystals in my realm. These crystals are a secret weapon. No army in Galarian can stand against them. You must stop Hepzibah. If you do not, your world will fall, and my plans will suffer significant harm. At one time, I disclosed a secret transformation to 2 servants of Baphomet and Discari, Xanther Vang and Mustafan. It was a well-calculated gambit which bought us time and assured both Discari and Baphomet of my loyalty. Mustafan is Hepzibah's favorite. He oversees the transformation of her army. Hepzibah is currently on another island far from here. The route to that place is plagued by pirates, monsters, tempests, and other more terrifying dangers. Have you heard of the living bubbles of frozen time that swallow airships, and when the ships reach port, their crews discover they've been gone for 100 years? This is not the strangest occurrence that you could encounter on your journey. I'm willing to provide you with a decent ship and experienced crew. If you kill Hepzibah, it will stop her sinking any more of my islands, but without giving Baphomet cause to declare war on me. Then again, I'm not offering you anything new, as you're already enjoying my favor, Commander. Your companion is a succubus, and I'm a succubus queen. This demon follows you around only because I allow it. Tell me, Urushala, are you grateful that I'm not forbidding you from traveling with Commander and fighting against your own kind? You're incredibly generous, Our Lady in Shadow. So what do you think, Commander? Personally, I'd rather take my chances rowing to this another island far from here in a rusty buggy than make deals with the Lady in Shadow. I'll steer. Why is it so important to kill Hepzibah? Discari and Baphomet won't just stand there and watch you close the Worldwound. They'll send their armies after you, so you will need an army of your own, and that is something the Crusaders won't have for long. Hepzibah is mining more and more Hindering Crystals to empower her forces when she attacks Galarian. If you don't stop her, the Crusader resistance will be crushed, and the ranks of demons pouring through the Worldwound into your world will multiply 100-fold. You were sent here to cut off the demon army supply of Hindering Crystals, weren't you? Well, that's exactly what you're going to accomplish. I will consider your offer, Lady in Shadow, and accept it, I'm sure. I respect your caution and won't force you into submission. We will all stand to gain if you do my bidding of your own volition. An interesting destiny lies before you, mortal. You will rise to great heights and play a part in events of titanic proportions. Many would give their life to have a chance to tread such a path. Hepzibah visits Illusioneer every now and again, but her true lair is far from here. She hides on the island of Kulafir to the northwest of my archipelago. There lies her secret fortress, in the deep mines her slaves dig the Hindering Crystals for the invading army she plans to bring to Galarian. I will give you a magnificent airship and experienced crew to take you there, and it'll be a long, perilous journey. Take some time to prepare. I wish to inform you of treason. Is that so? Who is it you've decided to inform on, and more importantly, how did you learn these traitors, and how credible are these accusations? Shamir is researching the Hindering Crystals in secret. Perhaps she's planning to overthrow you. How nice of you to warn me. I'm impressed. I do wonder, however, did you really think I was unaware of this, or did you merely want to demonstrate your loyalty? Either way, I appreciate you telling me. I'll take this as proof that I can rely on you. You were able to uncover the astute. You were able to be very astute and uncover Shamir's desire to dethrone me, and it was particularly sensible of you to keep your mouth shut about the secrets of the Hindering Crystals. I suppose your caution calls for a reward. Mining the Hindering Crystals is a surefire way to sink the island of the crystals around the bottom of Ishir. I assume you understood why all whom attempted to procure them on Alinthia were executed. At least you didn't tell Shamir about the mines you found. The last thing I need is for the Ardent Dream burrowing under my capital. Why do you still tolerate Shamir? Someone has to deal with the trivial matter. Shamir's betrayal was assured the moment I made her my favorite, just as Ephorians before. The second always dreams of rising to be the first. I know the feeling. A friend of mine, the storyteller, is written in the future. In his vision, Hepzibah was sending demons after you. The demons were strengthened by the Hindering Crystals. You're a font of knowledge, my dear guest. Let's just say I'm not surprised by your appetites, but the ambition of that brat, of her lecherous goat of a sire, we're bound to serve her sooner or later, but your warning will encourage me to keep a closer eye on her. You could have gone to Hepzibah with this and received payment for your science. Your foresight must not go unrewarded. I've said everything I want to say. I killed Wildis, your court mage. I'm aware of this. Of course, it's lamentable in a way, since fear of me was strong enough to make him impeccably loyal. However, his death is but a single move in a much larger game. In games like this, losing a few pawns is unavoidable. I want to ask you about other powerful denizens of the Abyss. Are you interested in one of my servants, or you wish to tell me about something about your enemies? What is your relationship with Arilu? She works for me, isn't it obvious? Lady Verlesh is very talented. She made me the most brilliant capable mind ever to come to our plane. And the guile she used to betray one demon lord master after another impressed me so much that I offered her the position of my advisor on matters of magic. Actually, the esteemed Lord Goat and Lord Locust didn't know a thing about the betrayal of their faithful lackey, Lady Verlesh. I plan to keep it a secret for a little while longer. Betrayal is too strong a word. I opened the path of Galarian for those two, and I told them how to extract power from the Hindering Crystals. That will suffice. Doesn't it bother you that Arilu serves another master? I'm not prone to jealousy. Let Doskari think Lady Verlesh serves him still. His bug brain seems incapable of sensing betrayal. As for Baphomet, he like any talented liar, is most vulnerable when he's trying to deceive someone else. He was so pleased to have fooled Doskari that he became blind to the treachery that was happening right under his snout. In truth, Lady Verlesh's loyalty is mine alone. Loyalty is for fools, shared interest. That is why the rational minds rely upon that and fear. No one in their right mind would oppose the Lady in Shadow. How did Arilu become your servant? When the Worldwound first opened, it was only led to Doskari's realm, but then there was another more powerful breach. The Worldwound expanded, and its paths now passed through my realm and Baphomet's as well. Before long, all sorts of interlopers had heard about the power contained within the crystals here in the Midnight Isles, were soon overrun with agents from new neighbors. They flouted my embargo, burrowing greedily into my rocks, stealing my crystals. The main culprit was one, Arilu Verlesh. She was the one who discovered the energy of the Hindering Crystals. I'd captured her and was about to carry out her agonizing execution when Lady Verlesh offered me something I desired even more than her death. She entered my service, and her main task since then was to close the Worldwound. Once it was sealed, my realm will once again be cut off from the Baphomet Doskari, and their slaves will no longer be able to infiltrate my islands with ease. Do you remember the Elven Archmage who used to serve you thousands of years ago? He's still alive. We know each other. Really? He was well past his youth even back then, and now, just how old is he? Can mortals even live that long? Well, apart from your immortal Aslanti, say hello to him on behalf of the Lady in Shadow and tell him that the one who replaced him has disappointed me immensely with his incompetence. No matter how hard he tried, he can never live up to my magnificent elf. You know, you've managed to surprise me. A rare occurrence for someone who knows just about everything. Are Baphomet and Doskari your allies? Obviously not. The Goat and the Locust? Ally is too strong a word for a relationship. Our connection was forged by circumstance, not out of a desire to deal with each other. When the Worldwound opened, it tied your world to our realms. I did not join my armies with theirs, but I was forced into making peace with them so as to not get bogged down into a tiring, distracting war. If I had the opportunity to, I would have met them on my terms and expanded my territories at their expense. Unfortunately, this is not currently possible. By the way, one of them came to me with the offer of an atrocious alliance that involved conceiving little ones together. I'm still contemplating the specifics of my refusal. It needs to be clear and unambiguous. I want to know more about you. Oh my goodness. Recounting the whole story would take longer than your brief mortal life allows. The list of demon lords I've slain is endless on its own, as the number of islands under my rule, and that's just the past. There's also my future. How to become a demon lord. Bear in mind that I've always been unique. Ever since I was born, I was the first succubus of the Abyss and the perfect specimen of my race. I'd been enjoying my youth, sharing it with my brother and lover, until the hungry gaze of the demon lord Hindering fell upon me. The greedy tyrant saw me as a jewel to be added to his treasure hoard. He tried to abduct me. I knew I had no chance of defeating a demon lord, but in that moment I was not thinking at all. I was fighting for my freedom. When it was all over and Hindering was dead, I eviscerated him, and for many days afterwards blood spewed from his open carcass. First his body turned to stone, and then his blood, which had been flowing like a stream, began to crystallize into a massive perfect glaciers. Now do you see why they're called Hindering Crystals? Because perhaps they should be called Nocticula crystals, because Hindering's blood crystallized, so too did my understanding of my power. Soon after I began my campaign of conquest, I was cunning and swift, and the demon lords themselves trembled before me, knowing I could take their very lives. Only when all of the Abyss spoke my name with terror and reverence that I decided that I had killed enough. I had a realm, I had power. I no longer shared with my brother. I had servants, and most importantly, I had safety. No one had ever repeated old Hindering's mistakes. No one has ever tried to make me their slave. For the Midnight Isles were the corpses of slain demon lords. Yes, my realm was quite literally built on the bones of my slain enemies. Ironic, isn't it? How did you turn the dead demon lords into islands? Surely you don't expect me to reveal my secret to you. There's no need for mortals to learn the weakness of demon lords. All I can say is that everything started with my desire for revenge. After I dealt with Nahidri, I was so furious at the thought of that violatrous wretch just teleporting over the Rift of Repose, where he could turn to stone and stay there to rot for the remainder of eternity. I wanted to trample his foul corpse to keep his bloody body within my sight forever. I yearned to display my glorious trophy to all the Abyss, and that's when my power first manifested. I studied my newfound abilities and learned how to use them. Before long, I possessed not just one island, but an entire archipelago. What do you plan to do next? Subdue all the Abyss? Possibly, or perhaps I have something grander in mind. The Abyss? Who cares about the Abyss? No more questions. I have a question, Lady Nocticula. How many copulation partners have you had? I'm making a list for the encyclopedia, and I believe you may take one of the top spots. For a few tense moments, Nocticula peers into the Ninja's face, adheres and smiles at the slightest curve of her smiles. What matters to me is not the quantity, but the quality, and I'm well ahead of any denizen of the Abyss in that regard. That is where we end this discussion. If I'm to depart for Colifir, your guards must watch over my camp and the Nexus. Oh, no. I still have some business to take care of, Evolutioneer. But really, you're no longer needed here. As you wish, my lady. There's one more thing we must discuss, the Lexicon the Paradox. Lady Verlesh's magical treatise that contains many secrets of the Worldwound. You and my servant, Lady Verlesh, were just talking about the Lexicon the Paradox. For many years, it has remained split in half, harmless. But what was once divided can be made whole again. Who knows what power the book could impart to its owner? What if they expand the Worldwound even farther or connect to the other planes? Not a chance. The Lexicon the Paradox causes more than enough trouble already. You already possess the first half of the book. Find the other half and bring them to me. Bring them both to me. I will reward you handsomely, giving the book into my keeping whilst protect Galarian from the suffering of a second Worldwound disaster. The Lexicon the Paradox will be much safer under my watchful eye than in your travel bags. Wouldn't you agree? Why do I need this book? One Worldwound alone has been enough for a nuisance for me. I want to ensure that some future mage leafing this book doesn't find a link to my realm to another plane. I'll consider your offer. The rule will not disappoint you, I promise. This dangerous knowledge ought to be locked up securely. I won't keep you any longer. Still have some business to take care of. You have taken a liking to my city, I see. Well then, savor it to its fullest and come back for a truly important business. Oh my god, okay, we're done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. If you've got anything to say, go to the comments below. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscription button and the bell. If you want to see more, check out this video down here. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.